As I said before in my vegan versus plant-based video, there is absolutely no such thing as an ex-vegan.
Some vegans believe, strangely, that if a person stops being a vegan, then the person was never a vegan to begin with. Let's apply the same silly reasoning from a non-vegan perspective and see what we get. There is absolutely no such thing as an ex-carnist. So, if I become a vegan tomorrow, then the conclusion would be that I was never a non-vegan before. That would be laughably false. Obviously, I'm not a vegan now, and if I become one, then I must also become an ex-non-vegan. The same logic applies to vegans, but what vegans are doing is to take the unreasonable stance that a true vegan would never stop being vegan.
Again, John, you keep repeating the same lie that you used to be vegan, you're a former vegan. No, John, you were never vegan, and that's why it's so easy for you to partake in this violence yourself. I'm sure if you were actually vegan before, it would be a hell of a lot more difficult for you to commit animal abuse by gutting fish open while they're still alive and gunning down deer.
That's yet another strange reasoning. The real ex-vegans feel remorse for leaving veganism and struggle with it. If you do it suddenly, then you were never a vegan. So if I become a vegan overnight and I have no difficulty to leave the non-vegan ways, the conclusion would be that I was never a non-vegan before. What kind of silly reasoning is that? What those vegans don't seem to realize is that people and their opinions change, for better or for worse. It's possible for a person who is an ethical vegan to change opinions. In the best case scenario, vegans could argue that ex-vegans abandoned veganism out of ignorance or based on bad information. But to say there is no such thing as an ex-vegan is utter nonsense.
Basically, cultish thinkers and cults, basically they hate people who leave their group and abandon it and change beliefs. Ex-members are considered to be bad for the movement, for the group, for the organization, and they damage the reputation, so that's why they're heavily criticized and not liked. When you look at people who are members of cults, religious cults I'm talking about, when they leave and you look at their stories, they're identical. There's similar patterns of criticism that come against them. And what happens is their name is just dragged through mud. As soon as they leave the organization, they're criticized viciously. And when I dealt with faith-based groups that were not cultish in their thinking, when a member left them, they didn't ostracize them, they didn't start to criticize them. They maintained the line of communication and didn't destroy the bridges, but kept the bridges there so they can continue communicating with those people. Now, I've noticed that in the vegan movement, when somebody stops being vegan, especially if they're celebrity vegans, you know, YouTubers and what have you, a lynch mob really comes out. You know, people pull out their cameras and start making YouTube videos criticizing them, you know, trying to get more subscribers and views and followers, and they really attack that person. Let me tell you, that is very cultish behavior. That's what I saw for over 30 years working amongst religious cults and counseling them. Okay, this is exactly what they did. Character assassination became the order of the day, and this is what I see vegan YouTubers sometimes do and vegans do on social media: attack someone who's not vegan anymore.